Hi guys, how are you? Welcome to my channel. If you're new, I'm Atieno Olang, and today I wanted us to talk about funerals and how COVID has affected funerals in general in our communities. Uh, for the longest time, I think funeral has been a celebration in an African community, and I feel like it has been even more expensive than most weddings are, because we are looking at a point where the family of the deceased have to slaughter cows, chickens, goats, name it, for an entire 2 weeks before the burial. And this is mostly on the western part of Kenya. I don't know how the other people do it, but I'll talk about my village definitely, where I have witnessed funerals, um, how it happens, and how expensive it really is. But before COVID, this is what funeral was, and the mostly the second week on a Friday in most homes, they bring the body in the evening. The friends and family, the villagers, they will come in. They'll be crying and viewing the body, you know, and all that. And then the following day, after all that tent and meeting and eulogy being given, and people again eating nyam nyams, yeah, the burial will take place maybe from 2 to 4, something around there. Now we have reached a point where, because of COVID, and they don't want maybe the body to be infectious or something. I don't get it behind there. I don't really get what how they do this. The body is not supposed to be more than 1 week, and if it's brought in early in the morning, by 10 they need the body to have been buried, right? So no more of the gathering of cooking, eating, and all this. Now, I was bringing in this topic in respect to what took place a day ago. We lost our neighbor, a very good man. Actually, he's the one who constructed my parents' home, which I'm in. I'm at home. This is my parents' home. And he's the one who did this home when I was around 9 years old. Yes, I was 9 years old at that time. And the first time I was not around. And sometimes when you're not around and you're told something, you tend to forget. Now I have my small place where I get to coexist with my kids, where mom gave me when I came back home after COVID. The economy went low, my business stand still. Nikarudi nyumbani. We thank God for our parents. And where I am sleeping with my kids, it's near the fence. So basically, any commotion that takes place on the road, I can hear it, especially at night, because the village is quiet. It tends to be quiet, especially when people have gone to bed. People go to bed real early, and you hardly hear like commotions, as opposed to people who live in town areas, like 3 a.m. Something. It's quiet. It's very quiet. All you hear are the sounds of is it called crickets? Yeah, sounds of crickets, of frogs, or the trees, because our home is piled with lots of trees. So trees does its own speaking. You hear, something like that. And when mangoes fall, on top of the roof, you hear the bang. When you're not used to it, first you're like, oh my God, there's a witch. Like the night witches or the night runners. I don't know. Well, I used to think there was one before. Anyway, now I was sleeping, yeah, enjoying my dream visions, name it, those nice things we do when we're sleeping, yeah. Then for some reason there was a motorbike keeps on passing, and it's making those the noise. I So at first I'm like, okay, I think the first time I was cautious that this thing is happening, I was like, oh, maybe someone is just coming from somewhere. It's not normal. It doesn't happen always, but hey, you know, again and again, and it started getting louder. It started getting like this Rambo thing happening. Do you remember these movies of Rambos we used to watch a long time, when these people wants to come and you know, chokoza the villagers? They come in a motorbike, brr, 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 and they circular you, and you know, they keep on rotating, and they create the atmosphere of fear in the local market. Then dudes, they start coming out of their motorbike and they have their tattoos and they walk. Eh, you know, now already the vendors are now fearful. They're like, they're shaking. Yeah, so it was something of that sort being created behind where I'm sleeping. So at first I was like, what is happening? It was one motorbike, then the second motorbike. Then I could now even hear people. I could also hear people coming in, meaning now the commotion was more than just one person. There were many people now coming in and they were talking. And at first I was really puzzled. I was asking myself, what is going on here? Is something going on? My mind is confused, it's empty. You know, you're just waking up from sleep and people are talking and then I started to hear someone else crying, like the way we do it the African way. Woo! You know, the dramatic way. And speaking and speaking and speaking, and I'm like, oh, okay. So that's when it dawned to me that our neighbor who just passed on, they actually are preparing for the body to come in. Now this commotion started at around 3 a.m. and it went till around 6. So this was a long pace for me. I was enjoying my sleep, but then again, what is my sleep in that kind of circumstance? Now it went on, and then now I had lots of motorbikes now coming in, and they are doing all that. Then I had the car now, the main car that was carrying the body, because it was they had that ringing wheel 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 as it's passing by, and you know, they know how to do it. They make it very slowly. Yeah. And at that time you're not annoyed. No, you're not annoyed anymore. All you're doing is you are actually flashbacking and thinking of this man who was a very peaceful guy, quiet guy, hardworking. Yeah, but though he had reached an older age. And yeah, so that's what happened. And then the burial was the following day, which was yesterday, and it was also short. The burial was also short, not like before, how people want to bury their people with, you know, more dignity and all that nyasi. In our language, we say nyasi. Yeah. Uh, I I feel like nowadays every death has been corona. And I feel like not everyone is dying of corona, because when I look at how this thing is happening, like right now, I think it's India where people are dying the most. And my condolences to them, and my prayers are with them. Um, it is something that if it comes in a family, it can wipe the entire family. That is why I still believe that most of the deaths that have been taking place here are not corona, because that is not happening. I still believe even before, people used to die from low blood pressure or high blood pressure or sugar, meaning diabetes, malaria, diarrhea. I don't know. I just want them to diagnose things correctly. If it is someone who died of pressure, as I believed that's what happened to my neighbor, because he worked really hard. He was always on the sun, on the shamba from morning to evening, and his age was really up there. And I believe that could have been uh, the factor to the cause, that because he just came from the shamba, walking home, and he fell down and he was gone, right? So I believe if they can diagnose things correctly, then these people can give their people the dignified burial that they they're used to. They can use the normal hours, the way they used to bring in um, the deceased. Yeah, and some of us can have a good night's sleep, um, and then in the morning we go give our condolences. And, just keep the statistic correctly, like really correctly, so we know if the pandemic is really in the village or not. you know I think it will not hurt, really. So the celebration in the funerals are out for now, and there's an upside to it. As much as there's a downside to it, I believe there's an upside to it. And the upside to it for me, number one, is lots of noises at night. They used to do this disco matangas, killed completely. It's out. Thank God for that. Another thing is the youth is not getting pregnant anymore, not on the disco matangas, because that's where the youth used to run, go dance, and for some reason things happened there. And now it's cut, and I think that's a blessing. Yeah, so there's and also the heavy expenditure on the bereaved family has gone down, which I think is also something good. And I believe, like, if it was possible, maybe funerals should have been like, people are coming from very far, they make them something to eat. But I think people are within can actually bring in food with them. They can bring in and they put like, how do you call it? When you put lots of food and people come to serve. Yeah, so you have variety, but contributed by is it called the society? Yeah, I think that would also have been good, so that the family can only cater for little things, and they prepare the family also who have had the loss, you know, how they can move on economically also. Yeah, as we pray for them also. And that's my experience, and that's what I've noticed so far. Again, I'm Atieno Lang. If you have not subscribed to my channel, kindly do so that we may journey together. Give me some thumbs up. It helps my video go a long way. Until next time, hope to see you again.